morning, Patsy Spencer here. I just wanted to share some of my favorite sewing notions that I've found or somebody has told me about that have really become some of my favorites. So maybe a quick rundown of how I use them and how they help me. This one is called the third hand clamp, and I do attach it to the side of the sewing table or next to the sewing machine when I need to hold fabric or something like that, when it's just me and I need to pull out some stitches or make something taut. That's helpful. When I'm ripping out stitches, I'm not a big seam ripper fan as far as the little handheld one, although I do have a couple of them, of course. I got this little tool when a friend of mine, Carol, and I were out in Puyallup, Washington at the Sewing and Stitchery Expo, and it's battery operated, and it will, if you pull the fabric tight, you can just run this down and it will take out all your stitches. You just have to be not real forceful with it, but make sure you don't push too hard. I like this. It was about $25, I think. These are some of my favorite tweezers. They open up in the opposite direction. I thought it would be a little bit difficult to get used to that concept instead of it, going like this. But these, when you release them, they pull tight together. These are from Faymour. I got them from the Scissor Guy at Sewing Expo in Atlanta. They're very good. I have 2 pairs of those. My friend Kathy Schofield told me about getting a sable paintbrush to use to clean out the inside of your machine, like taking off the stitch plate and getting down in there. When you don't vacuum it out, I don't ever use canned air. That's me. I don't like pushing the dust down in there. I use it on my serger and my sewing machines. I'm fanatical about keeping the machine clean. So when I'm not vacuuming it out with a little mini vacuum set, I use this. Looks like it might be time for another one. What do you think? This is a little laser tool. I got it online, and it looks like a little mouse, the shape of it. But you push the on button, it gives you a laser line that you can lay across your fabric, and it'll give you a straight cutting line, or if you're using a cutting mat, a rotary cutter, you can use that. Or, if you just want to mark the line, but this will make it straight because it'll sit flat on the other side of the fabric. A pimento cheese or artichoke heart jar that I clean out. I have 2 of them, one at the cutting table, one by the sewing machine. I keep rotary blades that are nicked or broken, pins, anything that's sharp, and I always close it when I get through putting something in there. That way you can just toss this into the trash or however you dispose of it, but I never leave it open. This is Loctite super glue. I install a lot of rivets or Chicago screws in my handbags, and although I do use the tool, the setter, to make sure that the prongs the cap and the rivet go in together tightly, will usually put a little drop of this on the rivet post, and then I go ahead and set the rivet just to give me some extra security, because I don't want a bag that I sell to pop off, come apart. Not good. This is Amazing Tape, Hugo's Amazing Tape. I recently saw this stuff on Amazon for $50 a roll. I don't know what's going on with that, but I can't spend $50 for this. This is some stuff I've had before. I cut a length of this and on my Home Deck fabric rolls, because I use those to make the Home Deck to make purses. I'll wrap this around the top and the bottom of the roll to keep it from coming loose or unrolling when I've got them stacked up. If my cat walks across the front, the cat thinks he belongs on the sewing table. This is a pattern notcher. Got this also in Puyallup. I like this better than cutting out a notch with scissors. It's really heavy duty. A small crochet hook. This is about a size 10, tiny little thing. I've had this for a long time, and I'll use this to also pull out some stitches when I don't want to cut the stitches. I'll just use this to pick them out. Whatever you want to call this, People have different names for them, or they'll get a chopstick or something. This one, somebody said porcupine quill, although you know this can't be a porcupine quill. Oh, there's Gizmo. Hello. This has a point, but it's not as tiny a point as this one. I'll use this to push things under the foot of the sewing machine when I need help. These little containers, me and Container Store. We like each other. I always have little containers to store all my little gadgets in. But these are bias tape makers. I prefer the ones from Clover because they make a really giant one. This says Clover 50, so the sizes are engraved on the back of this, but for me this, I think it makes a 2-inch bias strip. But they've got some really good bias tape makers. Love those, rather than the generics. The generics never work for me really well. I got this at Joann's. It's a hole punch, so when I'm wanting to make a rivet hole or a Chicago screw hole, or sometimes even a grommet hole, depending on the size of the grommet, I'll use this because you just squeeze hard and you will hear the prong pop through the fabric. So it gives you, you know, a quick notification, if that's what you want to call it, that you've got a hole punched in your vinyl, leather, you know, canvas, whatever. It's really good. Like I said, Container Store and we go way back, but I like their shoe boxes. They have all different sizes, so I can put larger projects in. I use these to hold zippers, and I always use a label maker to tell me what's in the box. Even though they're clear, sometimes I have a lot of boxes. At Hobby Lobby, I would go and get some of these floss boxes for, I think they were $1.99. And I don't know whether that's a sale or a regular price, but anyway, very helpful because I will put buttons in there. And I separate my buttons just by, you know, all of the same buttons are in the same little slot. And since these have so many slots, you can have a lot of these. And again, I will create a label so I can stack these on top of each other and know really quick what I'm looking for. I also use those same floss boxes. Don't judge me on this. I have a lot of needles because I buy them when they're on sale. But I categorize them all, you know, I group them in the same, you know, all your 9014 metallics, all your top stitching, you know, they're all separated. So this makes it really easy to have needles when you need them, because I break a lot of needles. One more thing that is helpful to me, this shoe pocket holder, pocket shoe holder, anyway, it goes over the door. There's some clamps that you can use like in the grommets up on top that will hang over the door for shoes. I have hung this from nails on the wall, and I put rotary cutter blades, scissors, a lot of my tools, like, you know, these will go in the pockets. I put all those in the pockets up here so I can turn right around and see the notions that I need or use a lot of. Different kinds of scissors, some pressing tools. So this is very helpful, and I think it came from Walmart. There may be some at Container Store, I'm not sure, but I like this one that's clear. And there's also one that you can, it also came from Walmart. I don't know if they have them anymore, but it's like a little, a slip that goes from side to side. The same concept as this, but that you can hang on a wall. Usually you would hang it away from the wall because it's two-sided. Each side, you've got the middle piece, and then each side has a little clear sleeve that you can go in from both ends. And I used to put my stabilizer in there, so it was always really easy to see. And if it was all the same kind of stabilizer that would fit in one sleeve, label maker again, I would put a label on that little sleeve so I could tell really quickly what I was looking for instead of having to search through a basket of rolls. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. See you next time. Bye.